Are you listening? Are you watching? You know what it is, not just boxing. From the canvas to the madness, sit down and get yourself locked in. Are you listening? Are you watching? You know what it is, not just boxing. From the canvas to the madness, sit down and get yourself locked in.
Yeah, he told me. He said, listen, you can't spar. This is like 3 weeks before. You can't even spar. Like, I'm going to pull it. No, I'll be all right. Listen, got weeks left, don't worry. Like, because it was getting stronger. Like, it was getting stronger, but not to the point where, like, I'm fighting my hand. Like, do you know what I mean? For an average person, he would have gone back to work. Like, yeah. But it's different when
you're fighting for a European title.
Yeah, and I'm punching and I'm taking punches on the guard. And it hurt. So what I'd do, I'd get like an extra bit of padding, like wraps, and I'd tape it. When I do my wraps, I'd have a big thick bit here, what I'd tape round. And then I took the painkillers as well. So I had that for extra cushion, and I was taking painkillers as well to get through it. But then obviously, when it comes to fight night, I can't pack another bit here there.
Yeah.
I've got 8-ounce gloves on, like half the size gloves.
Yeah.
Not taking painkillers.
I guess in terms of wrapping your hands as well, could you put a bit of extra tape around? Obviously, it's not going to help much.
So I'd put, because when doing that, it hurt. So I wanted to keep that still. So I'd put loads of tape around so that don't move. And then I put the wraps on, and then I put the extra bit there and tape around that as well. So like my wraps would stick out here.
Yeah.
Like you could tell I was taking there really, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
I had to do it. Like,
so how did you get the injury?
Sparring. I was sparring, and I was doing.
Sparring that.
Michael Lakalu,
Don't know who that
the
is.
monkey man. Anyway, like, he's a pro, good fighter. In the 6th or 7th round, it was in 10 rounds, and at the 6th round or something, I felt something snap in my hand, and went back to the corner and went, Dad, something's happened to my wrist. He went, "Want me to pull you out then?" I was like, no. So I'd done another like 3 rounds with a broken wrist, and obviously I wasn't going to pull out sparring. And
then when did you get the news of the title fight?
It was the same week.
The same week?
I was waiting for it to be announced, basically. And I went to like the walk-in the next day, and that's when they said, yeah, it's broken.
The biggest fight of your career with a broken wrist.
Yeah,
it makes me think of, do you know Joe Calzaghe at the end of his career? Because he had such bad hands.
Yeah.
He would just go from fight to fight without even throwing punches or landing punches.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a special type of person to do that.
Yeah.
So last time we filmed, I'm pretty sure you had just become English champion at 140, was it?
140, yeah.
140?
Yeah.
When did you decide to move up again? Because you were lightweight, weren't you? So you've moved up 2 weight categories now.
So
right?
it was the fact, like, so I won the title, and then I was keep getting offered fights at welterweight, but they kept falling through. But like we accepted them, and then And then basically I wanted a big fight. I thought, I won English. I didn't want to defend it. I wanted to push on for something bigger, but I couldn't get the opportunities. I think like Dalton Smith was British champion at the time, and he had like a mandatory challenger, so I'll be waiting about. So I was like, well, what do? I've got to defend the belt. That's the next thing to do. I only wanted to do it in Portsmouth, so I defended it in Portsmouth. Got all the other people in the gym on the obviously bar Mikey. Everyone else was on the undercard, so everyone in the gym was training together and stuff. The promoter put that on, defended the belt in my hometown, and then after that, it was like, yeah, it's time to step up. I got offered fights at welterweight, which didn't happen. I was supposed to have I got promised a big one in December, didn't happen. But yeah, I feel like I'll be so much more like comfortable. I could make super lightweight, I can make it, but I would never be 100% at that weight. So there's no point doing it.
How did you feel fighting at welterweight for the first time? Did it feel good the week off?
The week off, yeah. Like, I think that's when you know, like, when you're making weight and stuff like that, that's when you know if there's, if it's gone well and stuff. Like, obviously I always train hard, I'm always fit, I'm always in shape, but just that little bit extra weight you have to get off does play a difference. And, like, I woke up and basically I was on weight, basically, and I was like, oh, it's lovely. Like, I don't have to do like this little cut thing. I'm all right. I'm on weight now. Came in a bit under as well, but I felt good. I didn't have to cut too much. So, yeah, I feel like that's the best. That's the best I've felt after like it normally takes me a bit of while to start feeling after making weight. Like rest of the day, I feel a bit like rubbish and stuff. But I felt good straight after. Like I felt good. Like the night before, I was like in the hotel shadow boxing and out. I feel like I feel different. I do feel different. So yeah, it was definitely a good choice to do.
So facing Casey Benjamin as the B-side, going in knowing that you're going to have the commentary against you, you're going to have all of these things against you, and you're moving up in weight. Was there any doubts in your mind that you were going to struggle on the night?
To be honest, obviously, I'm very confident in myself. Like I wouldn't take the fight if I didn't believe I'd win. Like, yeah, he's a good fighter, and I knew it was a step up. But it's one that I've been wanting for ages. I've accepted loads of step-up fights and they've all fell through. So when I accepted the fight, I didn't really think if I was going to be in the B-side or not, to be honest. I didn't really know, to be honest. Obviously, the fight was in London, so it wasn't like it was in his own hometown or anything. Then further into camp, I realised, yeah, okay, I am the B-side, but it doesn't make a difference at the end of the day. Like, it's just us two's in the ring, ain't we? So...
how long did you have out the ring since before your last fight?
I didn't realise, but it was actually 10 months. Like, that's a long time. I didn't realise, like...
Yeah.
And, like, he's had a couple of fights within the last few months, just, like, tick-over fights, not big names or anything, but... So he's been active. But then also I thought, like, yeah, I ain't fought for 10 months, but I was in a 50-50 against an undefeated opponent. And then, like... he's fought a couple of journeymen, so even though he's been more active, like it's levels as well. So obviously I'm not no journeyman, so like, it's going to be a lot different whether he's been active or not, being in the ring with me.
My name is Dennis McCann, professional boxer for Frank Moore and MTK Global. This is Fortress Boxing. A lot more protection, it's a no-brainer. Around your thumbs, around your knuckles, around your wrist. That's exactly where the problems are. They're very compact, so I feel like I'm punching hard with them on as well. And I feel like when you got sparring 14, 16 ounce gloves, the smaller wraps can't really, they're too small for the gloves, that makes sense. So these are a bit bigger and they're getting the gloves a bit more, they make them more compact.
1, 2, hook, go.
Do you remember much of the fight on the night? Obviously, we've spoken off camera about the 10th round. Do you remember much from even walking in through the whole entire fight? Or
Yeah.
You remember every round pretty much?
I remember the beginning and I remember the end.
Yeah.
In the middle, I remember when I used to start feeling uncomfortable. I remember that. Like the first round, I lost the first round, trying to outbox him, and when I started coming forward, it changed basically. Same as my last fight, like I said, it's and I felt very comfortable in there, and I could obviously up close. He didn't feel comfortable at all, and I was getting confident on that. So yeah, and then obviously in the last round, bit of a hiccup, and then won the fight. But yeah, so I know key moments of the fight. Mm-hmm. Well, not every round, but I can know the key moments of it. So
it's good for a fighter to be pushed, to get off the canvas, to know what they're capable of. I think it's good for you to know that and to obviously still win the fight.
Yeah.
Just because there's some fighters that can't recover. There's some fighters that sometimes it shows that they're not going to get back up. So that sort of ticks something off your list now.
I've got exactly that. Like I take everything as a learning. Like my 2 defeats I've had. Like to be honest, I could be sat here undefeated in 20 fights. Definitely. Like both my defeats are very close, and I could have got a decision on both. But I take them as learning fights, and I take positives from the defeats. And same with this win, like being dropped in the last round, whether I was hurt or just tired or whatever, I got dropped, and I got up, got through the round, and won. So I take that. I'd rather go down in a fight I've won than having to experience that on a fight and have it cost me. Obviously I got straight back up because I didn't feel hurt at all. I was just a bit tired. I might have been smart just to take a few extra seconds to get my breath back. But like I said, it's learning. Won the fight. It was annoying. I was winning the last round as well. Like it's annoying. Like I was winning the round. I think there was like 30 seconds left, and that happened. But yeah, he had to come out because he knew he was losing. So he gave everything that last round. Like fair play. He's a good fighter. He is a good fighter. And I think like I was giving him his toughest fight. Like if that hiccup didn't happen in that last round, I would have won him more convincingly than I would have beat him more convincingly than the two guys, the names who beat him did. But obviously the hiccup happened, so it made it a little bit more closer. But yeah, it was good experience. It's a fight that I should get credit for now. Obviously, he's a good fighter. He's a name. And he's only been beat by good fighters, so hopefully people look now like, wow, like Lucas Ballingall just beat Casey Benjamin, like we have to give him props now. So hopefully something big happens from that.
Well, a lot of people, obviously you go straight into social media to see what the public are thinking. A lot of people were just talking how he didn't turn up on the night and all these things, but a lot of people that don't box don't realise that when you're being outboxed, you don't want to throw. When you're missing your punches, it makes you not want to throw your punches.
Of course. Yeah.
So from the outside, a lot of people thought that maybe he wasn't doing enough, but that's just because you were outboxing him. And you had biased commentary on the night, which was really frustrating. I watched it as a neutral, scored it. I thought the judges' scorecards were bang on, 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it was all good. But yeah, a lot of people were talking badly about him when it's just not respect to your boxing. So it's always going to be the case. You're always going to get those people out there. But like we said off air as well, your career's pretty much only just begun now. So is there anyone in the division that you're looking at trying to get into the top 10 rankings?
To be honest, obviously I've done everything like the hard way really. I ain't really had much help to get to where I am now. I want to, like, depends. Listen, I'll fight anybody. I've always said that. I'd fight anybody. If I get the call to fight a big fight, I'll take it because I'm confident in myself. But I've just won the IBF European. I'd like to defend it and then get up to the IBF rankings. That ideally, that's what I'd want to do. So it doesn't matter. International fights, international opponents. I ain't really had much international. Like my last 3 fights have all been domestic 50-50s really. Now I'd like someone to, do you know what I mean, help me out a bit and get me like an international opponent to start building up the IBF rankings, and make use of that bout I've got. But like I said, if I get offered a big fight against a domestic opponent, I'll take it. But yeah, we'll see what the options are. Obviously, GBM, they gave me this opportunity, and just recently they just got a deal with DAZN, so I'm happy to work with them again if they can offer me something good. But yeah, we'll just see.
It's an absolute pleasure to have Gymfluencers on board as a sponsor for Season 5 of the Notjustboxing podcast. They've been supporting us since we were on 10,000 followers. If you have over 1,000 followers and you like to showcase your health and fitness journey, or if you're an up-and-coming boxer who likes making content, you can receive free products in return for just the story. You can also work on paid collabs where you set your own rates. They've worked with the likes of C4, Jimmy's Iced Coffee, and Skinny Food Co., and the list goes on. If you want to hit them up, use the code NJB to get started today. And also going into that European fight, like we said, where you only had 2 weeks of punching, what would you say on the night? What percentage were you at in terms of what was the percentage of Lucas Ballingall that we saw compared to what you're capable of?
Like fitness-wise, I was very fit. Like, it wasn't ideal camp. I've had a lot better camps. But so ability-wise, I wouldn't say I was at my best. Definitely not, just because I didn't have the preparation what I should have. But I was fit, I was strong, and it's annoying really because I said I'll step up weight and you're going to see a completely different Lucas. And just because the camp I had, I couldn't show everything, so I couldn't have been as dominant as I wanted to be. But I think I showed that, like beating him at my first fight at welterweight, being out the ring for 10 months, not the best camp. I showed that I've got something, like I've got a bit of something there. So hopefully people take that on board and I'll get something big afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. Like obviously, when I was sparring, obviously I started sparring late in camp because of the problem I had. But when I was sparring, I was doing 10 rounds every day, fit, and I was winning almost every round. So we were very confident. Like we went in the ring very confident that I was ready to do the business. But yeah, it could have been better, definitely.
And it was only few months ago, you said you were going to hang up the gloves possibly, just because of the bad luck you've had out of the ring. So I'm guessing you're so happy that you took the next opportunity that came.
Yeah, like I've always got to think I'm very mentally strong. You need to be mentally strong in this game, especially when you ain't got the big backers on your side and they're doing it the hard way. But there's only a certain amount you can take. Like, yeah, I'm very mentally strong, but after a while, like when nothing's happening for you, it does eventually get you. But yeah, I said I'll give it one more year. If I don't get the big fight I want, I'm just going to call it a day. Got the fight, got the win, so now it's changed everything now. Give me another 10 years now. But
it's crazy how quickly it can change.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Boxing is like that. That's why I gave it another year, because I know I'm nearly there, but I've been nearly there. Like, I've been pro like 9 years now. I'm not old in the game, but being pro 9 years, it does take its toll on you. But I've almost been nearly there for like 5-6 years now. I can't keep saying, oh yeah, but the opportunity's going to come. It's going to come. It's almost there. Like I still haven't fought on TV, like in 9-year career. Like, it's crazy, really. And I've probably had about 10 to 15 opportunities when I should have fought on TV, and it hasn't happened. But like I said, now I'm there. Like I've got a strap. I'm ranked decent in the welterweight division. I'm entertaining. I've showed that I belong on TV. GBM's just got a contract with a TV channel, and then I'm there now.
Season 5 of the Not Just Boxing podcast is proudly sponsored by My Meal Prep. My Meal Prep have made it easy for you to stick to your diet goals, as well as eating delicious, tasty, homegrown food. Make sure to use the code NJB20 to get 20% off your first order today. In terms of people that watch right now that may have not even heard of your name before, I don't think a lot of people realise that you've had your whole life dedicated to boxing. You've got up, you've ran countless miles, you've been dieting your whole life, you've been in and out of camps, and only now really things are taking off, you know. So I don't think people really understand the struggle and how strong boxers, not just yourself, but boxers have to endure. Like, you have to really love this sport if you want to be successful, because not everyone gets the TV deal early and has that nice red carpet. There's only a handful of guys that get that. And the same with your brother, obviously. He's had it the hard way, and it's probably made you even better without realising. If you had it the easy way, you might have been cutting corners, you might have been having a bit more relaxed time, so it might have made you more hungry. You know, you've got those what ifs, but people really don't realise what goes into being a professional fighter.
100%, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I was never a national champion, never on the GB squad, so that obviously plays a big part of it. So we knew we had to do it the hard way, kind of thing, but we never expected it to take as long as it has. Obviously, my first TV fight was 3 years into my career, I think. So just the bad luck. So it does happen a lot quicker than it's going to happen for me. But just with my luck, it hasn't. But you do need to be mentally strong. If you're not getting someone in big promoters straight away, and you haven't got the heart and the dedication for it, it's not worth it. It's a hard game. Obviously, amateur boxing you've got to take it serious, but a lot of people, amateur boxing is just give it a go to see how it goes, and then eventually they might want to turn pro. But you can kind of, amateur boxing, you have a side thing as well. It's not 100% in amateur boxing unless you're on like GB and stuff like that. It's not. But pro boxing, such a hard game, you have to give it 100%. And yeah, like, you have to really love it to do the way me and my brother's done it, and done it the hard way. Because
and the sacrifices.
That's the thing. Like, you have to miss birthday parties, events, weddings, friends, stuff like that, which is worth doing. Like, when you've got a fight scheduled, like when you're with these big promoters, you'll know you're fighting 4 times a year. They give you a date months in advance. You know that it's definitely happening. You're getting decent money. It's worth it. But when, like, you're fighting and you're just waiting for that next opportunity, not knowing it could be in 3 months' time or a year's time, really, like, and you're missing out on all this stuff. Got to stay strict, train hard, like, stay near your weight, but you don't know when that next fight's coming, the next opportunity, and that the next fight purse or whatever. Like, it's very hard. It's very hard to do. But like, I'm getting to that point now. Like, I've headlined my last 3 fights on the smaller shows, but I've headlined the shows, main event, and I can't be denied much longer. I deserve that big fight, that big exposure fight for at my new weight, welterweight. So hopefully it comes soon. Obviously, ideally, every fighter wants to say, I want to fight every 3 months. I want to fight, but when you ain't with that big promoter, nothing's guaranteed. So like, one fight in 10 months is not ideal. Like, I want to fight again in a couple of months. So we'll see what happens.
What do you want to accomplish in boxing before you retire?
I want to sit back at the end of my career and say, I've won this, I've won that, and I gave it everything, and I didn't underachieve, because in my career I've sparred multiple world champions, world title challengers, top level fighters, and more than held my own. And I don't want to be that guy who's retired in a year's time saying like, oh yeah, I used to have good spars with him. Oh yeah, I was just as good as he was. But then like, I had nothing to show for it. I've got 2 like English champion, great. IBF European, great. But I believe that I've got a lot more to achieve in the sport. So I've got the ability, and hopefully with the backing, like, it'll happen. So.
Well, even though you have a lot of setbacks, I do believe you make your own luck. You know, staying in the gym and talking to the right people, you do make your own luck. And now you've got the European title, you are that draw. So it is going to be an exciting year for you and your brother. It's going to be really good. So have you ever thought about life after boxing? Is that something that's ever come into your head, what you want to do? Because it's such a short career. Has that ever sort of crossed your mind, or have you not come to that yet?
It's obviously, yeah, it's a short career, and all it takes is that one injury and your career's over. So like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is like that. For me, obviously, boxing's always been in my life since I was a little kid. So it'll be something I'd like, maybe train fighters or something like that. But I think no matter what I do, boxing will always be there. I'll be involved in it in some way. But yeah, hopefully I've got a few more years till I have to worry about that. But
definitely, yeah. So there's going to be boxers watching this. Have you got any advice to any of these people that are coming through, that are sacrificing birthdays right now, that might be 15 years old boxing as an amateur?
Just you got to love it. If you love the sport and you got to be mentally strong, then it's worth it. Like, your luck has to change at some point, and the opportunities will come. Obviously, at 15 years old, you're still learning. You're still enjoying it. Really, it's when you're getting a bit older, turning pro, and having to deal with all the hard stuff. And like amateur boxing, you can fight all the time, like 50-50 fights. You win some, lose some, but it's all learning experience. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still learning now, but it's my life. It's my life now. So you need that mental strength to do it, and I've got it, luckily. So yeah.
Great. So just to finish up, what's your dream venue to box at before you retire, and also opponent? What is the top welterweight or super lightweight that you want to fight before you hang up your gloves?
Obviously, people might say Madison Square Garden or Vegas or something. Obviously, I say Fratton Park, because it ain't happened before. So that will go down in history. So yeah, I'd say Fratton Park. An opponent, whoever's going to pay the most money, to be honest.
Would you do that with your brother?
What's that?
Would you maybe have like a co-main event, share the night?
Of course. Like, the stable of fights coming up in Portsmouth now. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen anytime soon. You've got my brother, Mark, me. We've like, this is the sort of, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen around now, I think. So hopefully 100%. Like, you put me on first, I don't care. I'll be on at 4 p.m. on the card. Like, just to fight at Fratton Park would be amazing. So yeah.
Even if it was maybe against some Southampton fighters as well, that might add to it.
Yeah, it would. I don't think there's enough Like, I think Southampton has less fighters than we have in Portsmouth, to be honest. So I don't think it's.
Do you think they've got less pros in Southampton? I think they've got quite a few.
Yeah,
Not your weight.
Yeah, our weight or our level. Like, no, really, not. There ain't, is there? So I don't think there's enough. There ain't enough from Portsmouth and Southampton to build a show against each other. Like, I don't think it is. Not anytime soon, anyway. So
We'll start chatting to Wayne Batten. We'll get St. Pipeline for a few years.
No, you chuck them on the card and all. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
So dream venues, Fratton Park. And what's the biggest name opponent you'd like to fight?
It's hard to listen. At the end of the day, boxing is a hard game, and the plan is to achieve as much as you can in the sport and earn as much money as you can in the sport and get out with your brain cells still there. So for me, it's whoever's paying the most money, to be honest.
Smart.
The boxing the way I've done, I've not earned loads of money from boxing. So for me, it's earning the most money and then getting out and building something afterwards, really. So yeah, anyone.
Have you had quite good mentorship with, when you do come into these big money fights, you can have the right people to help you invest and to make that money last longer term? Because obviously it comes and goes so fast that you see in many boxers' careers.
That's it. Like, I'm not at that stage yet, unfortunately, but I'd like to think I would be smart with my money. So just have to wait for them big fights to happen.
Brilliant. Well, it's been great having you on. Is there anyone that you want to thank before we wrap it up?
Well, thank all my sponsors. Without them, like I said, there's one thing being mentally strong and waiting for your opportunities, but without them sponsors, like, it's impossible for us to do. So all my sponsors, like, thank you very much for, like, sticking by me, and the rewards are showing now. Like, the help on them has got me where I am now, and hopefully many more titles and big nights of boxing. So yeah, so thanks everyone.
Well, it's great having you on, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.